My friends, today I'm here to tell you that historical revisionism has gone too far. What is historical revisionism? This is an idea that we can go back and change history or create a narrative about history, create our own narratives about history, not what is the right collectively agreed upon narrative, not some sort of objective truth. Of course, we've given up on all these kinds of things. Instead, we go to an even more individualistic narrative where everyone has kind of an autobiographical understanding. Perfect. This is absolutely needed. This is what is needed to start your journey as the pinpoint of your, this is basically the black belt that you get when you start your journey. A black belt is the beginning of a journey into your own DNA history, your own DNA structure, all of that. When I get spiritual, when I say things like our ancestors can speak to us through our DNA, I'm not joking around. I'm saying even more direct than the crazy man who says that God directly talks to them. This is basically God directly talking to you. It's like through your ancestors. They may not always answer, they may not, they may, but there is something there within those intuitions, even pre-linguistic, perhaps, which is why I think it comes out through ritual, which is why I focus so intently on ritual. And why do I do this? And why do I feel the need to pinpoint supposedly vulnerable sectors? I don't think that these people are vulnerable, right? I don't look at people in, Africa or even, the worst places in China, just slum people or the subaltern as being necessarily worse off. I don't. I don't think of them as even being spiritually impoverished. I think that they are, in fact, in a way, outside. They live in a polytheistic world. They live in a world where they can think outside of money. And in fact, we, my friends, we in the cyberpunk, we are the people who are impoverished thinkers. And we take our impoverishment and we export it and we sell this impoverished ideals as if we are the people who are enlightening people, the Christian missionaries, or nowadays it's through the United Nations missionaries, right? My friends, I've worked in the front lines of refugee camp situations. We are in the post-apocalyptic. And I'm 99% sure that we've already passed the event horizon, the event horizon. And as a result, I do believe that we need to take the correct measures. We've already failed. Or if you're a white supremacist, if you're whatever belief that you believe, right? We've already failed. We've failed. Understand the desert is real. The desert of Nietzsche is absolute. It's more real now than ever, because what we've done is we've built society, we've built our civilization on the desert of meaninglessness of the present. And we haven't realized that we built it on nothing. I'm wearing a nice shirt with a bunch of birds on it because I want to highlight that birds of a feather flock together. And what I mean by that is it's almost really ancient, this birds of a feather flock together. Flocking, okay? Flocking, what I call flocking, in grouping ourselves within other people's socio-economic mindsets. Flocking is the ritual that we need. We need to flock, basically, from our collective. So we can flock in a bad way. So flock for me is the fear, flight, fight, and then there's flock. So flock for me is the fourth. So we flock to our respective polarized echo chamber. in order to find the truth. But uh, what we really need to do basically is like birds, create that murmuration. Uh, we do it all the time with our memes and our wars. But these days, we need to do it in a completely different way. And that is to see the humanity within each other and not calculate our economic, socio-economic, political, socio, all the marginal error, utility, all of the calculations, all of the papers that are coming out and talking about how deontology is a form of something and all these attacks of one philosophy onto the other, how there is also wars going on within the academy, which is amazing. But we need to realize at some point that we need to flock together. And the only way really to flock together, in my humble opinion, is to get out of a logic. And you know what's funny? I'm an ex-libertarian, so I talk to like libertarians all the time, like right-wing libertarians, left-wing libertarians, all the types of libertarians. But right now I'm talking about the right wing. And so these are the people who believe in Ayn Rand or Hayek or Milton Friedman or Mises.org and all these guys. And they were the first to try to moralize capitalism, to moralize this cost benefit analysis that we do amongst one another. They were the first to do it. And now the left does it because the left has succumbed to capitalist realism, and which is actually a form of capitalist naturalism, right? When you see your kin-based relationship as a cost-based benefit analysis, that is an impoverished state of mind. And I think I'm not the only one to talk about this impoverished state of mind, right? Obviously, other people talk about it, but in the way that I talk about it. But we just don't have a language for it, which is why I call it cyberpunkisms. Okay, and the reason is you can go to the Reddit for that. So I hope you join me in this discovery of our cyberpunk dystopia, in our understanding of our modern times, in both a way that we can be true to a kind of subjectivity that did once exist, a subjectivity that wasn't, in a loop of endless play being in performances from a Butlerian perspective of being, the thing, but rather thrown into a solidity through a DNA, through a hardness, through an unchangingness, through the fact that it's always been, and not just for the sake of that fact, but for the deeper wisdom that there is some sort of rationality within the villager mindset, within the hillbilly mindset. We need to listen to the hillbillies. We need to listen to the villagers. I'm from a village, so I understand these hillbillies, right? Hillbillies, villagers, it's kind of the same in a way, and I've been to the villagers in China, right? And one of my favorite scenes, and I'm going to end with this, is in Chongqing, where you can see the edge of Chinese imperial might hitting against its own tradition in the past. The villagers that live in the mountains coming down with their family, with their bad ethics or bad mannerisms, like spitting and peeing everywhere. And that kind of villager mentality, but super happy, super clean, right? Weird, super weird, but curious, people fun to have a beer with, right? And what people do is they hang out on the streets because it could be get sometimes very hot, even at nighttime. You just hang out with your belly out, and I've done that. You know, it's amazing. Get beer, and so there you could see the edge of existence in terms of the edge of modern empire, the Beijing guy who's individualistic and kind of he has a family role, but it's just way more money making and everything is way more capitalistic and determined and rational versus this guy who has no manners and these families that come and play together in public parks together. And all of these families come and do it, and it's amazing. And they have all these different sort of games. And I went to a water fight festival with all these. That's amazing. Yeah, it was mostly Pete, probably. Okay. And we're going to finish with that. So I hope that you will join me on this exploration on my channel in this real philosophy, and bring in your own contributions to what I hope to be building here. And thank you so much.